Hello, and today I'm going to attempt to install Arch Linux. Apparently this is a difficult thing to do, so we'll give it a whirl. This is the first time ever I'm installing Arch Linux. Got the installation instructions here on the side. I'm going to be following the default instructions at least, none of the fancy ones. System requirements, only 512 megabytes of RAM. First step, acquire the image. This I've already done. You can just click on the download thing and just go through whichever download medium you want to use to get your copy of the ISO. Verify signatures. We don't need to do that. Prepare installation medium. Technically, I've already done that because I'm installing on a virtual machine just to see and not fuck up a existing working system. Live boot environment. Okay, so let's actually boot this thing. I've already got the installation medium inserted, and then we have the live boot environment. We can just boot that up, see what it does. I'll increase the font size at least. So we've booted up the live environment at least. Everything works there. Let's see if there's anything special about here. Login as root to install Arch Linux, follow the installation guide. There's the link to it already on the website. A bunch of extra stuff, network control utilities, Ethernet WAN. Most of this is sort of self-explanatory. Let's see, set the console and keyboard layout font. The default console map appears to be US, so don't need to change that. How to set it. Console fonts are located here and can likewise be set with set font omitting the path and file extension. Okay, let's see. What does the set font do? Okay, let's see. Standard Linux font format. Standard Linux format, PSF font. This is describing the font properties like character size followed by glyph maps, options by the Unicode map. Several other obsolete fonts are recognized. The input file page format probably was a suffix. Containing 3 fonts. See selected. Raw font files are binary files with containing an image for each. Okay, so let's try the command at least. Set font. And let's check what's in the help function. Okay, just get that nicely printed out again. Okay, so let's just go back to the set fonts area and let's see the options used. 8, 14, 16 must be used selected 1. Okay, let's see what happens if I do 8. I have to enable numlock apparently. Unable to find file default. So how do we increase the font size? Apparently the -D switch should work. Oh dear lord. Okay, well it looks like you people can see at least. See if I can do a -H here. Page up and down doesn't work. Scroll lock. Disable scroll lock. Let's see, I forgot the command for it. Let's see what happens if I can find the shortcut to scroll up and down a terminal. Shift page up, shift page down. See? And that does absolutely nothing. Scroll lock? Nope. What's the other option? Control shift up arrow down. Does absolutely nothing. I don't want double the font size. Okay, so we just try R. Let's see if that helps my search. Let's use the shift page up, page down. Does absolutely fuck all. What does Reddit to say? Shift page up, shift. Oh, that doesn't fucking help a lot. Oh, fascinating delete. Does nothing. Let's see the number of users, yada yada yada. Console switch. That doesn't help me. Let's see in the newbie corner. Okay, let's okay. We are typing in the terminal. Is it unhappy about the numlock? Pipe that into less. Oh dear god. Let's try less again. Okay. So apparently we're rebooting. I'm reading. Maybe we have instructions here more. Where's the switches for this? There we go. Double the default font. Oh, where's the reduce function for this? But I did try reset. Let's quit out of that. We clear the screen. That's HR. Set font bad address. Bad address again. Okay. Let's try switch the numlock on again. There we go. Let's make it 8. What are the possible parameters for this? 1. Gonna try 16. Okay, so there's a 16. Let's control F this. Font formats. Containing 3 fonts with size 8, 14, 16. Let me just double check this. 14. Fuck all. Okay, we'll go back to this. We keep set font, and there was a cat command for this. So, cat, and we say the user directory, and the share directory, KB, what's that? D, and console fonts. See what's there as we ls it. Oh, that's quite a bit. Not what I wanted. Clear. 8 by 16. Okay. Let's try the set font again. Override the font height. Oh, okay. That's more like it. Okay, we get that to 32. What happens if I say 64? Where's the font width? Okay, font height 16. Try to double it again. Set it to 8. Set it to 16. Let's just ls that folder again. Anything that contains 8. Okay, let's try to, by replacing all the pixels vertically and horizontally, this for high pixel density, e.g. 4K displays, which standard font is small. Standard font is too small. Okay, let's see if I can load a custom font. Okay, let's see a semi-large font. That would be, let's just try one of these tiers. Fonts 118B. Okay, let's see what 28N does. I mean N. Okay, I think this is reasonable for us. Reasonably visible. Clear the screen. Okay, so we already hit a hiccup. Okay, so we should verify. I should be in a 64-bit system. So we do cat sys firmware EFI. What else is here? Just by the way, I'm pressing tab to get thing to autocomplete. Platform size. Yeah, so that returns 64. Okay. Next one, connect to the internet. Okay, IP link. Okay, we do have two adapters. The one is the loopback adapter and the one is the virtual machines adapter. Now, the thing is, how lazy can I be? Ping arch linux.org. Okay, apparently I did some security command and it doesn't want to reinstate it. Arch linux.org. Okay, so I'm lucky. I don't need to fuck around with the network. Okay, update the system time. Okay, time, date, control. Is that the actual UTC time? Yeah, that's the actual UTC time. Okay, now we get to fuck up disk. Okay, I assume where most people lose their mind on this. Okay, so we just list the disk. Okay, so we have dev SDA and then SDA and then loopback. So we have the SDA disk, which is the VirtualBox hard drive. Okay, you can also see there how it's set up. Okay, let's see if disk help. This is fun. Is there really no scroll back on this terminal? Let's see. On its default, so it does not have default installed by default. Virtual console TTY access to F6, which is position. What the fuck is this? Piping to a pager. For command outputs that you want to review, append less command. Inside less, use arrow keys, page up or page down, or backwards, and spacebar forwards. Fuck, did I forget how to use list? I forgot how to use list. Okay, let's see this. So we have list, details, outputs, cylinder numbers, sector size. Okay, let's get back to the install media. Okay, did it a loop back or maybe ignored? Can all be ignored. We don't have any of those anyways. The following partitions are required for choosing a device. For the chosen device, one partition for the root directory. Okay, that's fine. For booting UEFI and use a partition tool like fdisk, fuck disk, but anyways, to modify partition tables. Going. I haven't used fdisk in a while. Let's see what the wiki has to say about fdisk. I can probably use man, but this is easier to read. Sector size, specify the sector size of the disk, valid. The kernel is aware of the sector size for regular block devices. Use this option. Okay, we're not using that then. We're not doing boot. We're not doing compatibility. We've already listed the disk out. Cylinders, heads, wipe. Oh well, let's YOLO this. Okay. I want to quit this and let's just list the disks. Let's clear. Let's just list the disks again. Okay, so that is /dev SDA, and I want this to be the and we're just gonna call it part. Welcome to fdisk. You decide to write them, be careful, not a directory. Other mount points. I need to remember how to do this. Fdisk creates partition. Helps identify target disk. Okay. Okay. Let's just clear this out. Clear. Okay. Command M for help. Okay. Okay, that's more like it. Okay, that doesn't help much. Save it. Write the disk. Create a new label. Create a new empty GDP partition table. Create a new empty. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, replace this table to create a new type in and press enter to create a new partition. I would have loved to see it, but anyways. Okay, let's see what typing n does. Partition type, primary, extended, or logical partition. Okay, what partition type is E? What's it? Fuck man. EFI. Its format is FAT32. Contains bootloader. Yeah, well, I know that already, but the fuck. Fdisk code. The fdisk, the EFI system partition is identified as a specific partition type, EFI system type code on GPT. Create a new GPT partition table. Then what the hell is N? For GPT, that's the partition type EFI system type. Identify the partition. Set the type if needed. For GPT disks. Fdisk. Set up a EFI partition. Okay, let's see if these instructions. We want to do G, apparently, and then we want to do N. The following prompt to specify the partition number, first sector, except default, and last sector. We need to exit. All written will be lost. You really want to quit? Yes. Okay, then we want to fdisk L. Okay, sector size, logical, that's so many sectors. Okay, let's try this again. This command creates a new. Okay, so mhelp. We want to create a GPT partition table. Create a new GPT partition label. Okay, that's great. Specify the partition number, first sector, except default, and last sector. Okay, partition number. Okay, let's take one, first sector. Okay, 48, yes. Last sector. Do I really need to do a calculator for this? Because that's going to be the whole disk if I use the default. Shit, I don't know what the sector size is. Okay, cancel, yes. We lift the disk again. Unit sectors. So each sector is 512 bytes. Let's see, I just want to double check. They want to have the sector size is 1 gigabyte. Okay, how many sectors is that? 1 gigabyte divided by 512 bytes. Okay, and then we want to offset it by 2048. Okay, so now we go back in. We want to create a G. Let me just see. Create a G. Create a new, yeah. And we say N. Partition label number 1. We use the default. Ending one would be what we calculated out to be. So that's 1955173. Created a new partition file system and size. Alright, we need to keep this somewhere safe. I'm just going to keep this in a notepad somewhere. just keep that there so we know where we're starting again. Okay, if disk lists partitions. Okay, what's the right command again? Yeah. If disk create EFI. Okay, let's see that. And then we want to write the changes. Okay, so before we want to list this thing, we just want to write. The partition table has been altered, calling to reload the partition table, syncing disk. Okay, we just want to list what's on this disk. In sector. Now we go to the next one. We want to create a swap partition. Swap can stay. I can also mount multiple swaps if I need it. Okay, next. Let's see. Create a new empty partition table. So we're gonna do G again. And then what was that command? T. No, N. And this will be the second partition. And this needs to start at. Okay, we just keep that one there. This location, so that is 1955174. Okay, so this is directly after the EFI partition. Then this plus 4 gigabytes divided by 512. Was it bytes? 512 bytes. Okay, I'm just going to save this number. I'm just using the recommended arch sizes for now. We'll maybe not use the root 23 gigabyte. No, I have to use the entire disk for that. Okay, so we need to use this number, which is 9767674. 3.7 gigabytes. That looks about correct. Okay, great. Then we write that to disk. Let's see what's on the disk. Okay, so it looks like it erased all the previous partition table. So I need to create all the partitions in one shot, looks like it. So let's just keep the reference here. So I need a GDB part. I want to do a new partition here. We want to do at the start of the sector. 1955173. Let's just see if I can mark that partition. Partition type, alias. Okay, let's see, partition type. Change the partition type Linux file system to EFI system. Okay, that's what we wanted. And then we want to create the swap partition. I just want to create an alias. If disk set partition, how the fuck do you spell that? Alias. Why does it want to make it difficult? Step this is okay. We can get rid of this. I'll do that later. Swap partition. With the correct drive, activate the swap space, enable newly created swap partition. Okay, so I don't need to do anything special there. See, I just want to set partition table alias, create EFI partition. Why did it do it like that? Let's just keep that one open. Okay, now we need to create the next partition. Okay, so we do G again, and then we do N. This will be 2. This one will start just at the end of the other one. So this number plus 1. So that will be, and then the end of the partition is going to be 9767674. And then we have this number. Just going to keep that and just plus 1 there. No man, plus 1 there. Just to keep it in memory. So we do another one that's going to be G and then N. This is going to be partition 3. And that's going to be 9767675. Yeah, so that's one after. And that's going to be the default value. Let's see. Why is the default there? Oh well. Let's just go with the default because that's the end of the disk. 45 gigabytes allocated to the end of the file system. Okay, so we write that. And then we just do a L. Okay, so let's try another method. We want to do G, then we want to do N. We want to start with the first partition, do the default, we get our start or end of our partition again, write that to disk. Okay, so that kicks us out. And now we have only the one file partition. Great stuff. Let's see if disk create multiple partitions. List all the disk, yes. Create the first partition type N. Use the partition type primary or E for extended. Specify the partition number, accept the default settings. Yeah. Specify ending sector, yes. Create subsequent part. Repeat step 3 for each additional partition you want to create. Oh, you gotta love AI. Okay, so if I go into the disk, press P, this is what we currently have. Okay, we already have this one. So we would do G, and we do 1953. We want to do N, we want to do 1. Starting sector is going to be 1955173. And ending sector, let me just bloody find it. Ending sector is 9767674. Okay, we do P. Now, let's just see. If disk L, disk path, yada, create a partition table. Now, why is it only creating one partition? Okay, let's see what the AI has to say. I don't know where step 3 is. Create a first new partition. Create a new partition value for the new disk. If the disk is brand new, you want to clear all existing partitions, you might need to create a new partition label. Type G for modern GB. Yeah. Type O for older MRBs. Create a new partition. Type N. Follow the prompt, specify a partition data, first sector, last sector size. Yes. Create additional partitions. Repeat step 3 for each additional partition you need. Okay, but it's not doing that. That's G again. Dash N. Do I need to do that for N each time? We do it again. 2048, yes. And then that is 1955173. Okay, and then we do N again. Oh, there we go. Why is it allocating dead space? Okay, we need to recompute this. First sector. Okay, so it's allocating dead space between the two. I don't like that. 1955174 then. Okay. We need to do the end of the swap partition, which is 9767674. Then we do another N, and we want that as 3. Yes. We want that to start at 9767675. All right, and we'll make it the end 857566, and then we do P. Okay. Then we want to do T. We want to select 1, and we want to select partition number, partition type, or alias. I don't know what the fucking alias is. When prompted for partition type, press 1. Okay. So we press 1. Okay. Then we look at this. If we just double check here. If this is a swap partition, normal Linux file system. Swap partition is not normal file system. It's dedicated virtual memory to yeah. Swap partition is raw partition on the disk drive that Linux uses as an overflow of RAM. Yeah. I know what the purpose is of it. I want to know the file type. What file system is? Dear God. There's a raw addressable memory with no special structure. Swap area additional. Okay. So let's write this. Okay, we have a file system. Hopefully this worked. Must be formatted with a appropriate file system. See file system for details. Okay, let's see. Swap. No results for swap. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so we want to make fs.extended 4, and it will be dev sda 3. Yes. Creating channels, yes. Then we want to do mk swap. So make swap, and that would be the swap partition. So the swap partition is sda2. Formatted to F. Okay. So the EFI system, so sda1 needs to be make fs.fat. So that's going to be fat32. Okay, we hope we did that correctly. Mount the file system. Okay, mount, and that would be sda3 to the mount directory. Okay, mount list. Can't list on mount. For EFI users, mount the EFI partition Okay, so let's do that. That's going to be mount the file system, and it should be mounted to boot. Oh, I forgot the mkdir. Mkdir. Okay. If you created the swap volume, enable it with swap on. Okay. Swap on. Let's try this. And it will be SDA2. And it would be swap on. Okay, no errors. Installation. Packages to be installed must be downloaded from mirror servers, which are defined in the higher a mirror is placed in the list, the more priority it's given. Downloaded on the live system. All HTTP mirrors are enabled, uncommented. The topmost mirror should be the fast enough for most people, but you will still want to inspect the files to see if it is satisfactory. Do I really have to do this? Okay, so let's see, etc. Let's just see, cat, etc. Pacman, and it will be .d. Mirror list. Okay, and then pipe that to less. Okay, can exit that. Q. So we just clear. No configuration except for Pacman gets carried. Okay, let's see. On the live system, the HTTP mirrors are enabled. Are you good? Okay, that's fine. It's fine. If not, edit the file accordingly and move geographically closest to mirrors. Okay, that's fine. The list will later be copied to the new system by Packstrap, so it's worth getting right. We'll see. No configuration except for Pacman mirror list gets carried over from the live environment to the installed system. Only mandatory package to install is base, which does not include all tools from the live installation. So installing more packages is frequently necessary. In particular, the following software install everything that you need. CPU microcode updates, any hardware bugs and security fixes. To install more packages or package groups, append the name on strap. The only mandatory package to be installed is base. Okay. Whatever that might mean. No configuration. Install essential packages. No configurations gets carried over from. So installing more packages is frequently necessary. In particular, review the following software. Install everything that you need. Not a fuck am I doing this. Utilities for accessing management. Okay, I don't have that. Specific firmware or other devices not included in Linux firmware. Okay. Software necessary for networking. E.g. a network manager or a standalone DHCP client. Software necessary for net. Okay. Console text editor, e.g. Nano, to allow editing configuration files from the console. Yeah, that will be necessary. Packages for access. Okay, for comparison, the packages available in the live system can be found in here. Okay. To install more packages or package groups, append the names to the packstrap 8 command below. Space, use Pacman to install them with shorted into the root. Okay. For example, a basic installation with the Linux kernel and firmware for command hardware. Okay, I think I get it. So we do pack ls /mount. Okay, that's all we need there. Okay, so the mount partition's there. Okay, so we do packstrap -k / and that's going to be installed into mount. We want to install the base package and then Linux, and then Linux -firmware. Okay, let's see what that does. Okay, so it's installing now into the mount. Okay, I'll get back to you guys when this is done. Alright, base package is installed. So I'm going to want nano as well. Okay, I'm gonna probably want sudo. What else can I think of? We'll install a GUI after this. And then the other one, software necessary for networking. Network is enabled. Let's see. Ping. Good. That synchronizes package database core is up to date. Extra ping not found. If a network is fine during install but can't ping the new system, even having a proper networking service, e.g. network manager installed. I want to know what to install. Network manager can be installed with a package. Okay. Alright. Network manager. After installation, you should start enable network manager.service. Okay. Okay, so we install network manager. That's one of the important ones. Okay, we got the text editor. I don't believe I need special firmware. I'm not using RAID of LVM, so that's fine. AMD U-code or Intel U-code for hardware bugs and security fixes. Okay. As long as we have network, we should be fine. Otherwise, I'm coming back into this. To get the needed file systems like the one used for the boot directory mounted on startup, generate a fstab file. Okay, let me just see. So we're on fstab to fstab. We want to generate an fstab and we want switch U into mount and then amend the current mount MNT to the etc folder into fstab, mount etc into fstab, gen fstab. Oh, it helps if I don't spell it as a stab, but anyways, fstab. Alright, I just want to cut that file and see what's in it. Okay, STA1, Okay. So this is to automatically mount everything. Let's try. Okay. So now we're actually swapping into the system that we've just created. And then mount. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. For human convenience, e.g. showing the correct local time for handling daylight saving, set the time zone. Okay. What's ln again? What does ln do? Ln command ln. Hard links, files and directories. These links act as alternative names or... So this is just pointing it around. Okay. Create the I think this is symlink. So sf user share zone info. Let me guess, it's not gonna fucking have my country. Let's try Africa. S star. Really? It has fucking Gaborone. Oh, there it is. Johannesburg. Okay. That goes to etc. local time. ln and then sf local time. There we go. Run hardware clock to generate. Okay. Hardware clock and then double dash. It says HC. No feedback, but okay. Localization to use the correct region, language, specific format, EJ dates, This is most likely something I'll change on the later stage. Local dash gen. Create the local config file and set the lang available accordingly. If you set the console keyboard layout, make sure to change this. Okay, that's fine. ls etc. local config, and that would be touch. Let's remove the e there. lsl loc. Okay, local config. Okay, there, and then we just amend to it lang. Don't need to, at least I don't need to flip and do anything special here. UTF-8 permission denied. Sudo just overwriting permission denied. Okay. Permission denied during install. Permission installation often happens because you haven't mounted a partition, or running a command without root privileges, or trying to execute a script without the necessary permissions. Okay, how do I exit short? The fuck? Okay, I'm gonna skip that and just set the root password. So that's password. Forgot the A. Okay, let's see. Can I do this now? Permission denied. To directly interact with the new system environment, tools and configuration. You want to boot it. Booting. Okay, let's see. Exit. Ha 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 ha. It will be etc. And that will be locale.config echo, and that will be lang equals en underscore us dot utf dash 8, echoing that into the locale cat Okay, so it's contained in the... Okay, that's another thing. I just need to make sure that's installed. Okay, we already... And we want cat... Let's just see. Arch Linux. Arch is cat included in the base package. The command line utility cat is included in the base package group for Arch Linux. It is part of the core utils package. Thank you. Okay. We have the localization set, the language. Okay, we don't need to do this. We have the default keyboard. Now I need to hook back into the current system. Keyboard layout's done. Network configuration. Okay, so this is going to be to assign a consistent identifier name to your system, particularly useful in network environments. Create the host name file. Okay, so we do touch in etc. host name, and then we echo Zenbox into it. Hopefully it works this time. Oh, I did it correct. I did it correct for once. Okay, Zenbox. Network configuration, okay, that's fine. IP link, okay, that makes sense because we run on installation of the kernel package. I have no fucking idea what this is. Interim FS. Root password's already set. Bootloader. Okay, now we go to the bootloader page. Where's grub? EFI boots. Okay, here we go. Grub. EFI system installation. First install the package grub, and EFI boot manager is the bootloader, while EFI boot manager used by grub install script to write boot entries to NVM RAM. Then follow the below steps to install grub to your disk. First install the grub package, grub and EFI boot manager. I assume this is included. Then follow steps to install grub on your disk mount. Okay, so it's already in boot. Let me just double check. Choose a bootloader identifier here name grub, a directory of which will be created in ESP EFI to store the EFI binary and the name that will appear in the EFI boot menu to identify the grub boot entry. Execute the following command to install grub EFI application to... Oh dear lord, why is this? I don't care about secure boot. CA keys. Symlock. Sure, the instructions are secure. Okay, don't care. Configuration. On an installed system, grub loads the boot grub to config. On each boot, you can follow generate grub config. Fuck Windows. No man. You see what's the headings here? Installation. The procedure described below is intended to work on a wide range of UEFI systems. First install the package grub and EFI boot manager. Grub is the bootloader, while EFI boot manager is used by the grub installation script to write boot entries to NVM. Am I in the correct fucking place even? Okay. Feature comparison. What's this? File system, MRB, firmware, BIOS, UEFI. Okay, that's fine. No, we don't care about building without. Don't care. Early user space, late user space, Getty, login, shell, display manager, graphical sessions. Fuck knows. Let's just figure out how to install grub. Then follow the below steps to install grub to your disk. We have already mounted this. In the remainder of the section, substitute ESP with the mount point. Choose a bootloader identifier. Here, name grub. A directory of that name will be created in the ESP EFI. Execute the following commands to install the grub EFI application so this is going to be in cd mount boot. No such file directory ls. Okay. Oh, of course that won't work. Root directory. Okay. Mount partition and the remainder of the section. Substitute ESP with the mount point. So choose a bootloader identifier. Here we name grub. A directory of the name will be created. Here named grub. A directory of that name will be created in EFI. Store the EFI binary. Okay, EFI with the mount point. Okay, so that's boot. So it's going to be boot EFI. So we do mkdir EFI. This is the name that will appear in the UEFI bootloader menu to identify the grub boot entry. Execute the following command to install the grub EFI application. What the fuck? Okay, we'll do another one. mkcd EFI, mkdir EFI, grub. Okay, we have a grub folder. Execute the following command to install the grub EFI application. Why all this hell of a... Okay, there we go. Let's just cd out of this. Grub install. Okay, so it does identify the grub installer. So we're gonna go target equals x86 64-bit EFI dash EFI dash directory dash F mount boot dash boot loader. I don't know why that frowny face is there. ID equals grub. Mount cd into the mount directory. Boot lsnat rm dash force recursive I ls. Okay, and then inframs. Just remove that. I'm gonna brick the system. I am going to brick the system. VM Linux cd root. Just try that command again. Okay, target EFI dash directory equals mount boot. Oh, it's bootloader dash ID. See? Fail to get canonical path. Let me just ls what's in that. Boot. I most likely broke something. Let's see. I need to reinstall. Need to reinstall packages. Sudo nano. Okay. The image may not be complete. Let's just try that again. Error file not found, etc. vconsole.config. Error found vconsole.config. Also typically a harmless warning or error that occurs during initial RAM disk generation, specifically where VDA also typically a harmless warning or error that occurs during initial RAM disk information generation specifically. Also, you can resolve this error by creating an empty config file or by creating a file with your desired console setting. Okay, we'll assume that's fine. It's just ls the mount directory. Okay, I put those things back. Great stuff. Okay, let's just try this grub install again. Canonical path. Okay, let's see. Grub install error fail to get canonical path off. Okay, let's see. Let's see what they have to say. I'm trying to install. What am I missing? Huh? It is not the mount point. It is the path to the device file. I thought that was a point to see. It's fine. Yes, it was formatted as it seems grub does not support it. I formatted EFI system partition to FAT32, then it worked. Okay, let's see if disk. Oh, this is gonna be fun. ls or -l. Okay, Linux get file system get partition format list block device swap. Let's block device. Let's see F. But it is FAT32. Mount boot. Bootloader ID grub. Mount boot ID grub. X ID target. AI root FS. AI root FS. Couldn't authenticate canonical path. Boot grub. Because it's not a virtual box. Okay, so this is similar to me. Seems like it should do grub to mkconfig so before installing grub and generating config, do this first. Okay, so I need to be in the short. I can press up all day. Grub install -h, is it there? Hackman -s grub. Alright, let's try. What's this? Just block. Okay, so we want to install grub EFI boot manager. Then we want to access our system. Grub install not. Okay, I'm starting to understand why people dislike this. Let's see. Seems like you should do in the chart instead of doing it outside. Use grub probe to detect the real device associated with the mount point while rootfs is loaded into RAM and doesn't have a canonical path. So before installing grub and generating config, do this. As above, result error failed to set up chart. Inside the chart, you need to install the grub packages inside the chart. Pacman has grub. I don't know why that command didn't work previously. Where the fuck is it now? EFI boot manager. Boot manager. Am I fucking spelling it correctly? EFI boot mgr. Install that. Okay, yes. To use the new feature provided in grub update, it's recommended to install the boot. Okay, let's see, exit and enter again. But I am installing it. Total included size, net upgrade size. Proceed with installation. Yes. To use the new features provided from grub update, it's recommended to install it to the MRB or UFI due to potential configuration incompatibilities. It is advised to run both installation and generate the configuration. Running posters. Okay, so can we... Am I typing gr install? Command not found. Make sure you install package run the grub. A system in which the grub will be installed as the bootloader. This means for some reason it's necessary to run grub install from outside the installations. Append the boot directory option with the path to the mounted directory. I already did this. Some motherboards cannot handle boot manager IG with spaces. It's not what I want to do. Alternative location. Not added to path. It's the directory containing the grub install executed, not in the... Oh, fuck off, man. Is it even in SBIN? User SBIN ls grub install. Okay, we'll run it directly. Okay, let me just get that command in front of me. Let me just see -h target equals x86 underscore 64-bit system EFI dash directory equals /boot boot loader id equals grub. Unrecognized option target. Okay. No. I want to see what's in boot. Okay, that is the correct directory, and that needs to be an equals target. Installation errors reported. Okay. After installation, the main grub directory is selected in boot manager grub. I don't want to know how to do that. For specify alternative, note that grub install also tries to create an entry. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Grub in the above example. This will, however, fail if you boot. Cure boot. I don't care. CA shimlock. Fuck knows. Install grub. The package is grub legacy. Nara fuck, my dude. Apparently the bootloader is installed, so let's see. Network configurations. Bootloader. Aren't I supposed to tell the bootloader where to boot to? Okay. Exit. Control D. Unmount -R. What's this? Mount U. umount -r, and then the mount directory. Option menu unmount will be funny. Restart the machine. Okay, reboot. Okay, let's get back into the ISO. Okay, apparently I skipped some steps. Okay, let's see. How to list systems. What? You can inspect the grub config file. This file contains the bootloader configuration, including entries for each system. Oh, I fucked up. On the install system, grub loads the bootloader configuration file each boot. You can follow the generate grub config or using a tool or custom grub config manual to create. This section only covers editing. I want to be back in the fucking installation media. You can use grub command line tool as a booting with grub. Use grub to boot from installation media. Using grub, enter the command line by pressing C. I'm already in the command line. Use the ls to find the correct device. Okay, ls. Okay, you should see. Access grub command line, disable the device types, yes. Set the root device. Identify the correct device, set root command. Set root equals cd0. Use the chain loader command. Chain loader +1. What? Set root. I'm gonna guess it's going to be GPT-3. So HD0. So the 0 with hard drive. GPT-3 and boot. Chain load the bootloader. Use the chain loader command. Grab console boot OS. Okay, enter the console, proceed, find the devices as command. Use the ls command to list devices and partitions. Look for FAT32 partitions with the boot or ESP flag. Set the root partition. Once you've identified the correct partition, set it as the root and command and replace. Use the chain loader command followed by the path of the OS EFI file. Okay, ls, try this. Actually, that will be set root 1, and then somewhere chain load EFI boot x64.efi. Okay, let's back to the grub menu. Okay, installation. Okay, let's see. Execute the following commands to install the grub EFI application. Grub x64 EFI. Bootloader EFI name a directory. Will create EFI to start. Execute the following command to install the application grub EFI and its modules. Okay, EFI grub. Alright. Grub install grub list directories on disk. Okay, let's see. GPT-2, GPT-3, HD0, rock. Alright, few days later, let's try installing this again. So I just looked up what the grub command is to get back into the BIOS of the VM. So that's going to be fw set up. Alright, that should boot me back into the BIOS. Okay, great. Boot manager. And then I want to boot from the CD-ROM. And then back into the Arch Live environment. Okay, we're back at the main install files. Let's get back to the bootloader section. Okay, we go to the bootloader. We go see what's going on in grub. So we have installation. So the installation part has been done correctly. And I missed a note in the documentation. The installation is like a boot grub, read, tips and tricks. For alternative locations, grub installs. Well, this is the thing that I blindly didn't see. After finalizing, I have to be the main configuration, generate the main configuration file. So just clicked on generating the configuration file. After installation, the main configuration boot config needs to be generated. The generating process can be influenced by a variety of options in grub and scripts in grubd. For list of options in default grub and concise description of each, refer to the GNU documentation. I am going to try this blind and ignore that part of the manual. We'll fix it if it breaks again. Generate will determine the root file system. And then it says important that the system is in short mode. Okay, let's go back to where they have you enter it into mount mode. So that is going to be arch short. Let's try again, arch short, and that's going to be the /mount. Forgot another step. I need to mount the directories again. So we do f disk and dash list. Okay, so we have to do the mount procedure again. Okay, so the root partition is in SDA3, so we do mount dash mkdir, it's a dash, that's dash mkdir, dash mkdir /mount, actually dev, and that's going to be SDA3, and that's going to be the mount directory. MNT, okay, and we do SDA1, and that's going to be boot, clear, and then we put the swap on, and that's going to be dev SDA2. All right, then we can try the chart again. Arch short, just here, install essential packages, configuration SJ chart. Short, and then the mount directory. How? ls/mount arc-chr. Okay, let's try that again. C short. Okay, and then mnt chr. Okay, finally mounted. All right, now we can go back to the bootloader. We have grub -mk config, and let's just check if that command works. Great stuff. And I want to see what's in the boot directory. Okay, all right, so we do a grub make config, and that's going to be in the boot directory, in the grub directory, and then grub .tfg. Let's see what that does. Did something. Automatically add menu entries to installed Linux image, kernels to be generated, configurations to automatically add entries, installed operating C. Okay, we do only have the one operating system. You can add additional custom menu entries by editing grub.d40 and regenerating yada 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 yada. We don't have another operating system. We don't have Windows on this. Additional arguments. Let's see what happens if I do the default. Reboot. Running short ignoring request. Okay, so let's try exit, reboot, see what that does. Okay, to pass customization arguments. Okay, let's see if there's a boot thing. I don't really want to do a custom grub, and we don't want to uninstall. Now I need to remember what the ls command is. Grub command to enter BIOS. Okay, I'm just going to keep that on the side. Grub config to boot Arch Linux. Let's see what the AI has to say about this. Okay. Doesn't matter, the video demonstrates how. Okay, so grub S, install, okay. Force reconfiguration, re-edit it. Okay, let's just see what that other command is again. Firmware set up. Boot from the live environment again. If the system boots the grub command prompt, ensure the grub exe file is in the correct location and try grub install with the removable option. You can watch it. I don't want to watch someone else's video. Dual booting. Okay, let's just see. Okay, we have grub make config mount again. So what was it again? Part. Ls mount. We want to cd into mount /boot. Ls cd into grub. Let's see what's in there. Grub fonts. It's no grub.config in here. Let's enter our Arch operating system again. Arch root chroot. Mount, clear the screen. So let's see. Let's go to the generate portion again. The section only covers editing. Config warning. Generate the main configuration file. Okay, let's try this again. Grub -config -o into, actually let's see if ls / okay, so boot is there. Ls boot grub. Okay, so it's there. Good new environment, local themes, etc. So we try grub -config -o, and that will go into the boot directory. into grub into grub.cfg. That's a 0, not a O. Grub config command not found. Oh, it's mkconfig. Okay. Found the next image. Found initial image. Warning: OS prober will not be executed to detect other bootable partitions. System on then will not be added to the grub configuration. Check grub disable OS proper documentation entry. Adding boot menu entry UEFI firmware settings done. Not sure what I did wrong previously, but let's try this again. Exit, reboot. We have a boot menu. Try watch. It's loading. Then password 1 2. I think I have the wrong username. Root, and we try the password again. Notch. Linux. Create user. Add user username. Add user. Then wrong way around. Okay, then we need to set the password. Pass double word. Su. Then forgot to switch username. Let's see. Switch user. Issue dash username. Okay. Issue dash zen. We try the password. Okay. mk dir /home file exists. Then permission denied, but I'm root. Sudo. Do I have sudo installed? Let's try this. Zen sudo Zen is not in the sudoers file. Su. Let's try this again. Okay, that's all the root commands. So mk dir /home /zen and then issue dash zen pwd. Clear the screen. Add user to sudo back as root, and then sudo user mod -ag. That's a lowercase a. Sudo. No, I don't need to change that. Sudo and zen. User mod group sudo does not exist. Okay. Create user group. Create sudo user group. Actually, it's you. I'm already root. Who? I'm root. Let's just see. Su dash zen. Who am I? So I'm still root. Okay, 1 2. Who am I now? I am still root. Let me just remember. Linux. Who command Linux provides information about the user currently logged into the system. When execute the current logged in user. Let's try who a and system boot. Okay, let's try who am I. I am Zen. Great. Su. Let's try again. Who I root. So let's see. Create sudo user group. Let's try just pacman -s sudo. Proceed with installation. Yes. Okay. User mod -ag sudo zen. Sudo does not exist. Add user to the relevant group, or the -a flag appends the user to a specific group. The G flag is okay. Verify sudo access optional. Okay, that doesn't matter. Let's just add this. Linux create sudo group. Okay, Arch documentation is probably the best one. Install package sudo to begin. To use sudo, simply prefix a command with an argument. Yeah. For example, to use pacman to sudo login shell configuration. This article for section needs expansion. Default skeleton sudoers lists all the options that can be used with default command in the etc sudoers file. For a list of options, yada yada yada, using vi sudo, example entries. Okay, so this is just documentation. To grant sudo privileges to an Arch Linux by adding them to a specific group, the standard practice involves using the wheel group. This is the designated group in Arch Linux for users who should have the ability to execute commands with super user privileges via sudo. Step to configure the wheel group or sudo for sudo access. Yeah, edit the sudoers file. There's the sudoers file. Let's go back here. Editor v nano sudo. To establish nano as the view sudo editor for the duration of the current shell session, export editor nano. To use a different editor, just simply set the variable before calling sudo. To change the editor permanently, see the environment variables. To allow user to gain full root privileges when they receive a command with sudo, add the following line. To allow members of group wheel sudo access. Okay, let's say editor. Actually, let's see nano-h. Okay, I do have nano installed. Clear. Let's try again. Editor equals nano vi sudo. Okay, lots of junk. Okay, so it's going to be then all equals all colon all and all again. Same thing without a password. Uncommon to allow members of group wheel to execute any command. Okay, yeah, that's what we want. Same thing without a password. No. I don't like that one. This I usually do on an individual basis. Uncommon to allow members of the group sudo to execute any command. Okay, I like that. Oh, I don't have a group sudo. I just want a group wheel. Okay, let's see if that worked. So we exit. We save the modify buffer. Alternatively, you may edit a copy of sudoers files and check it using copy of sudoers. This might come in handy in case you want to circumvent locking the file system for via sudo. Change the editor permanently. See This is not going to be a temp file. Save under file a different name. No. Write file, yes. End. Okay, end doesn't work in nano. Group wheel. Just say sudo, it's fine. Okay, so I'm just adding this, even though I don't have the group. Okay, so we exit. We want to save, yes. Okay. su-zen ls. Who am I? Okay, I am Zen. Sudo bash. It's not a sudoer file. Zen is not in the sudoers file. Su back to root. Sudo editor equals nano, and that would be vi sudo. Okay, let's see if my settings are saved this time. And this would be Zen. All equals brace all colon all and then all and then exit. Yes, save. Okay, let's try sudo su-zen sudo mash. Try that again, and sudo works. Okay, so now as user sudo, I want to install the KDE desktop. Install KDE desktop. Arch installation, the Plasma meta package for Plasma group. For difference between Plasma meta and Plasma reference package group. Alternatively, for more minimal Plasma installation, install the Plasma desktop package. Alternative, for a minimal Plasma installation, install Plasma desktop package. Okay, this is what I want. Pacman -s, and this will be sudo, and then we want Plasma. You know what? I'm gonna snapshot this virtual machine first. Shut down, power off. Okay, shutdown schedule for okay, shutdown sh now. Okay, I am just going to create a snapshot here before I install the wrong CLI. Okay, let's start running again. Zen password, that's going to be pacman -a. What are these options? Let me just see there. Sync, help, version, dataset, file, query, remove, sync, depth test, upgrade. Don't know what the fuck sync means, but okay. I'm used to installing Pacman with the S option, so I'll keep that. This is Plasma-desktop. Sudo. Give it a try. There are two provided alternatives for Jack. Okay, let's try one. There are two providers for Qt multi backend. Strike that one, and then we do yes. Okay, let's try two. and 2. Try yes. Lots of errors. Let's see, do I have networking? IP link ping google.com www. No, my numlock is not enabled. www.google.com. That's going to be ping. Google.com temporary failure in name resolution. Oh, I can see the issue now. The network link is down. Let's see. Linux. Enable network interface. Sudo IP link enp0s3. Let's see, enp0s3 up IP and then link. Let's just clear the screen here. IP link, and then we want state down. I want the state to be up. Let's see, link set up. Okay, let's see what it does. Okay, that's good. Now we want to try again for Plasma desktop. Try enter, we try yes. Okay, retrieving file failed to connect to, failed to connect to, lots of mirrors that are failing to connect to. Let's just ping Google and see what's ping. Temporary failure in name resolution. Networks CLI device. Let's just clear the screen. There's a lot of junk on it. IP link nm CLI and dash help. Let's see. It's there. Device connect, and that's going to be ENP0S3. Network manager is not running. Okay, back to something here. Where is network? Let's just find network. Network interfaces link up. Where is network manager? Let's go to DHCP. Network manager lets you manage network configuration settings circled. Okay, we want to go into network manager. Can be installed. Yeah, enable network. After installation, you should start enable network manager .service. Once the network manager database started, it will automatically connect any available system connections that have already been configured. Any user connections or unconfigured connections will need. Okay, enable network interface should be managed by only one DHCP client or network manager, so it's advised to run only DHCP clients or network managers on the system. Find a list of the current running services with system control. Okay, this doesn't matter. I don't care about VPNs. This daemon is okay. I just need to add the service. Try Arch Linux add network manager service. That's going to be sudo system control enable now network manager .service enable. Okay, let's try ping measure service. Yeah, enable configuration, verified installation. Okay, then we want status active. Let's try reboot. Okay, we will be Zen. Enable numlock. Great. Ping www.google.com. Okay, there we go. Shut down. And now we just take another snapshot here. Networking. Start this again. Here we go. That's Zen. And then password. Numlock's working. Alright. Let's try this again. Back man -s plasma -desktop. And I will need to do this as sudo password. Let's try default again and default again. Yes. There we go. We're downloading. Okay. I'll get back when this is done. Okay, we're near the end. I think. I hope. Apparently not. This is the install phase, I'm assuming. Almost there. No clue what this is. Checking for old Perl modules, updating. Okay, so what happens if I reboot? Okay, reboot into Arch. Fuck off. Okay. Arch install KDE Plasma. Then I'm just going to log in here. And we are going to shut down now. And we're just going to restore this. And then we start. What's the proper way to Let's try Reddit. Meta only includes Plasma components, not a regular KDE app. The wiki mentions it here, but includes too much stuff. I recommend just installing what you need. Okay, fine. KDE applications. The Byline session has matured enough to become the default and preferred one. X11 session doesn't matter. Using display manager for consoles. Okay, I want to know KDE applications. To install the full set of KDE applications, install KDE meta package or KDE applications group. If you only want KDE applications for certain categories like gaming or education, install the relevant dependency. KDE note the installation application. Oh no. Install the Plasma meta package or the Plasma group. For difference between Plasma meta plus reference package group. Alternatively, for a minimal installation, install the Plasma desktop package. Upstream KDE has packages set recommended to get fully featured Plasma session. Upstream KDE has package and setup recommendations. For every KDE package you install, do not pre-install these Plasma packages for Plasma desktop. Non-Plasma packages are add-ons, extensions and system tools that are not released with Plasma itself but makes the overall Plasma session nicer to use. They should be pre-installed. Third-party packages. I have Buggerall installed. By default, duck processes on logout are allowed to live 1 or 2 seconds killed by the system D. The timeout is quite long and yada yada yada. How to install KDE Plasma without installing. Okay, let's see this. How to install KDE without installing all the bloat games, EDU packages and other stuff. Just install Plasma desktop. During installation, Pacman exort offenses and you're done with that. Did you even bother to sort of? The first session stage, install Plasma meta. Don't want the full set. Oh, I'm fucking doing research now, you twat. But anyways, I'm using starting Plasma, starting from Superman the Wayland, yada. Plasma can be started using a display manager or from the console. Display manager, the preferred display manager is SSDM. Okay, simple desktop display manager. SSDM is a display manager. Install the SSDM package. Okay. Good lord, I understand why Debian is more popular. Oh, that's fun. Okay. Okay, the scene wasn't there, but okay. But basically, I just logged in and installed SSDM. This is the clear. This is the command that I ran to get it there. Basically, just that. Yes. Okay. Installed everything. Now back to the documentation. SSDM. The default configuration file can be found at the config.d. For any changes, create config file. SSDM config. See SSDM config 5 for all options. Automatic logging through its configuration file. For example, this. The configuration causes the KDE Plasma session to be started. User John. When the system is booted, available session types can be found in session or X and in Wayland sessions for Wayland. To auto log in KDE Plasma. Okay, this is going to be nano. That's going to be etc. This is going to be a sudo etc. SDD. Let's just see what's under S. Sensor services security sensor configuration. The default configuration file can be found at the. For any changes, create configuration files in config.d. C is for all options. For any changes, create config files in the SSDM KDE package. Includes the Plasma group. Provides a GUI to configure SDDM in Plasma system settings. There is a Qt based available. Everything should work out of the box since Arch Linux uses system D and using for session management. Okay, let's try installing KDE again. Configuration. Okay, I just want the default. I'll customize once I'm in there. Let's try with the default stuff. So pacman-s plasma-desktop. Not root again. So it's sudo again. Let's try one, and yes, and let's start this installation again. Appears to be less packages than last time. Let's try this again. Reboot. And fuck all. Okay. On the console, to start a Plasma Wayland session from console run. Okay. Let's try that. Okay, so /user lib plasma dbus run session if needed /user what has been start plasma. Let's see, Wayland. Let's hope. Oh! Desktop does not exist. Well, that's easy to fix. Okay, so this is really bare minimum. We're not quite there yet, because I need a console. Let's boot into Arch. We're not configuration. I need to remember, there was a list of things. Distribution. Let's see, non-plasma packages. What else is here? Mobile, nano, SDK, not intended for, okay, we don't care this. ISO mounting. What was that console thing? Provides product manual for KDE apps, open console. Console. I need that. Plasma dialer, Mano, okay, help center, third party packages, okay, let's see, install console. Is it literally just called console? Literally just that, okay. Pacman-s console-y, and then we do admin, yes. Okay, let's see what happens if, okay, it doesn't retain my history. Back to KDE. Where was that long ass command? Wayland. Okay, let's see, unknown application folder. Show panel configuration. No, I don't want panel configuration. The file folder home Zen desktop does not exist. Okay, that's capital desktop. Let's try restart this again. So this is going to be mk desktop sudo. Oh, we do that long ass command again. Wayland. Okay, no errors there at least. Unknown application. Well, we can at least configure it. What is this? System settings.desktop. Okay, apparently I need some configuration, but at least we are booting into the desktop. A recommended theme for Plasma Appearance GTK application is Breeze GTK. I don't care about themes. Most settings can be applications in config. However, the configuration can be primarily done through the system settings application. It can be started from a terminal by executing system setting. There are different types of KDE themes varying by scope of what they modify. Not exactly what I care about. KDE Plasma no applications. You have no applications, your Plasma menu, you can likely fix it by rebuilding application cache. If you have no application in your KDE Plasma environment, first ensure you have installed the necessary packages by installing KDE application meta packages. Try rebuilding the application cache with, don't want the full suite. Let's try rebuilding the application cache. I hope this is actually something useful and not the AI hallucinating, because I just need a console. The moment I have a virtual console in KDE, I am done with this. I can do anything then. Okay, where is that horrible command? Yay, bold, coca 6. I assume I'm on Plasma 6. / no incremental. What's this? 6k bold SYCO. Okay, so it wants to have it as sudo again. Okay, let's see what this means. Application.menu not found in Qulus. So I'm not the only one. The message application is not found in Qulus typically indicates the issue with the KDE Plasma environment when the system cannot locate the necessary menu definitions for files or applications. This can lead to problems like empty application. Yes. Modern KDE Plasma environments often use Plasma application.menu instead of applications.menu. If you find a Plasma application, okay, let's just double check something. Okay, so I'm definitely using 5. Okay, modern KDE Plasma environments instead create a symbolic link to resolve the issue. Let's etc. xtg menus plasma application menu. Fuck, it actually exists. Sudo ln-s, and that is going to be etc. xtg menus plasma, and that will be applications menu. Okay, it ran. Now that board, horrible command. User lib wayland. Do we have anything? We have a console. We have a console. We have a console. The rest is just going to be fighting with normal Linux and going through things. But I'm happy. I'm never fucking doing this again. Have a good day.